Will it rain? Will the sun come out? When will the sea breeze hit? Will there be snow? These are just some of the questions Tasmanians ask each other every day of the year. It's an interest, some say obsession, that has given the Bureau of Meteorology a high profile in the state. Now the Bureau is undergoing a revolution in how it forecasts, and communities that have never had their own outlooks are celebrating the new system. Fiona Breen reports.
Rain, floods, wild winds, heavy seas and snow. During the first 6 months of this year, Tasmanians have lived through weather extremes. The after effects have cost councils, business, farmers and governments millions of dollars. Extreme weather is always a topic of conversation. In Tasmania, it's almost a year-round obsession.
I think because our weather's so variable, people are always interested in it. So we tend to find that more times devoted to it on television and radio than in other states. Newspapers have a lot of extra information on it. So I think the media realise that it's a topic of importance to locals. Great.
The Bureau of Meteorology's Tasmanian forecasts have always been limited to 6 centres, a bugbear for communities living in the outer regions. Smithton on the far northwest coast has always been the biggest loser. It's taken its forecast from Burnie, nearly 90 kilometres away. The community has always relied on local knowledge to fill in the gaps.
I suppose that we've probably looked on the older people in our community and probably old wise fables, if you like, and if the crows are flying one way or the other, we think that, it's not going to rain or whatever, but the crows are not always right.
This week, Smithton finally got its own forecast. The state's weather forecasting system has undergone a mini revolution, publishing 7-day outlooks for 30 locations around the state. The ABC's weather presenter, Simon McCulloch, has led the change at the Bureau.
We're now doing a metropolitan forecast for Launceston, so rather than concentrating just on this point where Launceston City is, we're actually doing a forecast for the area around Launceston.
In the southern metropolitan area, Kingston, Hobart, Glenorchy and Bellerive now have their own 7-day forecasts.
A long and narrow city, it's not very wide. There are some differences across that area.
Queenstown and Rosebery have made the map, no longer relying on forecasts published for the coastal town of Strawn.
The West Coast actually works on weather. It denotes what we do, when we do it, how we do it, whether it's boating, hiking, camping, football, outdoor activities. We've got to pick our day to do things, and having access to a 7-day forecast is going to be a boon for people organising activities.
The new system is allowing experts to make the most of a huge increase in the volume of information now available.
We've gone from getting observations every 3 hours to getting observations every minute. We've gone from getting satellite images once a day to getting them every hour. So we've got this huge increase in the volume of information that we're getting.
It's transformed a labour-intensive system that required meteorologists to be part scriptwriters, part forecasters. They can now concentrate on their craft.
We've tended to own the words the way we've, perhaps some people have found forecasts a little bit wordy in the past, or they don't understand the jargon or whatever. It's a computer-generated forecast now rather than generated by the person. So it means that we're able to issue a lot more forecasts, but we lose that personal touch in terms of the wording that we use.
Tasmania is the 3rd state to roll out the National Computer Modelling System.
It's pretty exciting for us. Bit of trepidation as well. The forecasters have had a very steep learning curve, learning a lot of extra new tools to manipulate in this new system, so it's a bit scary for us as well. But I think that generally speaking, when you go out and talk to people, everyone likes the idea of getting more information.
And there's a lot more to come. By end of the year, the Bureau will be able to provide forecasts for 8,000 locations across Tasmania with just the click of a computer mouse. The change is being talked about in communities around the state, fueling some age-old rivalries, always just below the surface of any Tasmanian town.
I guess there's always been a concern, and local knowledge tells us that the Georgetown area is around 5 degrees warmer than what it is in Launceston. So if we can actually get the Bureau predictions to confirm that, that'll be very pleasing, I guess, for the yachties and the gardeners around the local area.
Well, I think in Hobart there might be some interest from one side of the river to the other. I think there's been a little bit of banter over the years between the eastern shore and the western shore.
I'm sure it'll put it to be quite conclusive, that the information will be out there for everyone to read, and it will be absolutely conclusive that the eastern shore is 2 degrees warmer than the western shore.
Even with the changes, in Tasmania, it's not safe to bet on the weather.
Won't always be right, that's the nature of the weather. Unfortunately, there are some days when you can be confident 5 days ahead and other days when you're not sure what's going to happen this afternoon. So that's the nature of weather forecasting as it is. So I can't say that the weather forecasts will be 100%. There'll be a lot more of them.